Admiral Zix Thur of the Galactic Confederation stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Celestial Harbinger, his tentacles twitching with anticipation. The massive viewscreen before him displayed a small, unremarkable blue-green planet spinning lazily in the inky blackness of space. Earth, the primitive backwater world that had somehow managed to rebuff every single invasion attempt for the past century. Status report. Zix Thor growled, his voice a mixture of impatience and barely concealed excitement. Captain Kree Lax, his second-in-command, slithered forward. All systems operational, Admiral. Our cloaking technology is functioning at peak efficiency. The humans remain blissfully unaware of our presence. Zix Thor allowed himself a smug chuckle. Excellent. Those pitiful apes won't know what hit them. Prepare the invasion fleet. And as the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity, Zix Thor couldn't help but feel a twinge of, was it doubt? No, impossible. This was going to be different. This time they had the element of surprise. This time they would succeed where countless others had failed. Right. Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a top-secret bunker that made Fort Knox look like a cardboard box with "Keep Out" scrawled on it in crayon, General Evil in Iron Fist Rodriguez stood before a sea of holographic displays. Her steely gaze swept across the room, taking in the organized chaos of the Earth Defense Forces Command Center. "All right, people," she barked, her voice carrying a hint of amusement that only Miss Who knew her best could detect. "It seems our alien friends have decided to throw us another surprise party. How thoughtful of them." A chorus of laughter rippled through the room. Lieutenant Jasper Giggles Thompson, aptly nicknamed for his tendency to chuckle in the face of certain doom, piped up. "Should we send them a thank you note, General? Maybe a fruit basket?" Rodriguez's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "Tempting, Lieutenant, but I think we'll stick to our usual welcome package." Status report. Major Olivia Techno-Wizard Chen's fingers danced across her holographic interface. "Looks like the Galactic Confederation didn't get the memo about our little do not disturb sign. Let's give them a proper Earth welcome, shall we?" The room erupted into a cacophony of affirmatives punctuated by the occasional snort of laughter. As humanity's last line of defense against alien invasion, the Earth Defense Force had long ago learned that a healthy sense of humor was just as important as any high-tech weaponry. "Initiate Operation Cosmic Woo Cushion," Rodriguez commanded, her voice carrying a mix of authority and mischief that would have made any self-respecting alien invader question their life choices. Back on the Celestial Harbinger, Admiral Zix Thor was practically vibrating with anticipation. His invasion fleet, a vast armada of sleek, deadly warships, hung in space like a swarm of metallic predators poised to strike. "We are in position, Admiral," Captain Krelax reported. "Our stealth systems are operating flawlessly. The humans have no idea we're here." Zix Thor's mouth tentacles curled into what passed for a smirk among his species. "Excellent. Prepare to decloak and commence the attack. Today we make history." As the countdown began, Zix Thor allowed himself to daydream about the accolades that awaited him. He could already see himself being hailed as the conqueror of Earth, the one who succeeded where all others had failed. Perhaps they'd even name a nebula after him. The fleet shimmered into visibility, a terrifying armada of alien might suddenly revealed in Earth's orbit. Zix Thor's heart swelled with pride. And then nothing happened. Zix Thor blinked all 7 of his eyes in confusion. Status report. Why aren't their primitive defense systems activating? Where are their pathetic excuses for warships? Impossible, Zix Thor bellowed, his tentacles flailing in agitation. Scan again. They must be hiding something. As the crew scrambled to comply, a small, innocuous icon appeared in the corner of the main view screen. It looked suspiciously like what humans called an emoji, a small yellow face with a mischievous grin. "What in the name of the cosmic void is that?" Zix Thor demanded, pointing a quivering tentacle at the image. Before anyone could answer, the icon expanded, filling the entire screen. And then, to the utter bewilderment of every alien present, it began to sing. "Never going to give you up, never going to let you down." Zix Thor's eyes widened in horror. "What is this infernal noise? Make it stop." But it didn't stop. Instead, the singing face was joined by others, each one belting out a different Earth song. The cacophony of Earth's most annoying songs blasted through every speaker on every ship in the fleet. Alien invaders clutched at their auditory organs, writhing in agony as the assault on their senses continued. And then, just when Zix Thor thought it couldn't get any worse, every screen in the fleet began displaying an endless stream of cat videos, interspersed with clips of humans falling over and something called TikTok dances. "Shut it off." Zix Thor screeched, his composure completely shattered. Shut it all off. But it was too late. The Earth's secret weapon had been deployed, and there was no escape. Back in the Earth Defense Force bunker, General Rodriguez watched the chaos unfold with a satisfied smirk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't mess with Earth's meme game. Lieutenant Thompson wiped tears of laughter from his eyes. Oh man, did you see the look on that big tentacle face when the rickroll started? Priceless. Major Chen, still monitoring the situation, chimed in. The alien fleet is in complete disarray, General. Several ships have collided with each other in their panic to escape. I think we can chalk this up as another successful defense. Rodriguez nodded, her expression a mixture of pride and amusement. Well done, everyone. Looks like Earth lives to meme another day. As the bunker erupted into cheers and laughter, Rodriguez couldn't help but reflect on the absurdity of it all. Who would have thought that humanity's greatest defense against alien invasion would turn out to be its ability to be really, really annoying? Admiral Zixthor sat in his quarters, a shadow of his former self. The celestial harbinger limped through space, retreating from the Earth system with what remained of the once mighty invasion fleet. I don't understand, he muttered, his tentacles drooping dejectedly. How could they have known? How could they have been so prepared? Captain Krelax, looking equally shell-shocked, shook his head. It's unprecedented, Admiral. No species we've ever encountered has wielded weapons like that. Zixthor shuddered at the memory. Those infernal sounds, those mind-numbing images. Is this what passes for culture on that accursed planet? A junior officer timidly approached, holding a datapad. Sirs, we've managed to decrypt some of the transmissions from Earth. I think you should see this. Zixthor took the pad with a tentacle that trembled only slightly. As he read, his eyes widened in disbelief. It says here that what we experienced was something called a meme war, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Apparently humans have been waging these wars amongst themselves for decades. They've weaponized absurdity. Krelax peered at the pad. There's more, Admiral. It seems this meme warfare is just the tip of the iceberg. The humans have an entire arsenal of psychological weapons they call pop culture. They'd been honing these skills since long before they achieved spaceflight. Zixthor slumped in his chair, suddenly feeling very, very old. All this time, he mused, we thought their lack of visible defenses meant they were vulnerable. We never imagined, sir, that their greatest strength was their ability to be incredibly obnoxious. Krelax finished. Zixthor nodded glumly. Precisely, we've grossly underestimated them. Their minds operate on a level of chaos we can't even begin to comprehend. As the celestial harbinger continued its retreat, Zixthor made a mental note to update the Galactic Confederation's files on Earth. Under planetary defenses, he would simply write, approach with extreme caution. Exposure to Earth culture may result in confusion, headaches, and an inexplicable desire to watch just one more cat video. The next day, as news of the thwarted invasion spread across Earth, humanity reacted in the only way it knew how, by turning it into a meme. Social media exploded with post-tagged alien rickroll and invaders alike. Video edits of aliens dancing to Never Gonna Give You went viral. Someone even started a petition to make Baby Shark the official anthem of the Earth Defense Force. My fellow Americans, she began, yesterday we faced one of the greatest threats in human history. And we met that threat with the full force of our most powerful weapons, bad puns, dad jokes and cat videos. The press corps erupted into laughter and applause. I want to assure all citizens, and indeed all the peoples of Earth, that we will continue to invest heavily in our meme defenses. As we speak, our top scientists are working tirelessly to create even more annoying songs and even cuter cat videos. As the speech continued, televisions across the nation split screen to show crowds celebrating in the streets. In Times Square, a group of revelers had set up a giant screen playing Nyan Cat on an endless loop. In Tokyo, an impromptu cosplay parade featured people dressed as various memes, led by a giant doge. Deep in the Earth Defense Force bunker, General Rodriguez watched the celebrations with a mix of pride and amusement. You know, she mused to no one in particular. When I joined the military, I never thought I'd be saving the world with rickrolls and lolcats. Lieutenant Thompson grinned. Just think, General, somewhere out there, an alien is trying to explain to their leader why they're suddenly obsessed with watching videos of humans falling off skateboards. Rodriguez chuckled. God help them if they stumble onto Earth's conspiracy theory forums. Their heads might actually explode. As the bunker settled into a more relaxed state of readiness, Rodriguez found herself reflecting on the strange turns her career had taken. When the aliens had first appeared a century ago, humanity had been terrified. They'd scrambled to build defenses, to create advanced weapons that could repel the invaders. But as attack after attack failed, a pattern began to emerge. The aliens, for all their advanced technology, seemed utterly incapable of understanding or predicting human behavior. They were repeatedly caught off guard by humanity's capacity for illogical action, for finding humor in the absurd, for turning even the direst situations into fodder for jokes and memes. And so, bit by bit, Earth's strategy had evolved. Traditional military might was still important, of course, they weren't EDOTs. But more and more, they found that their most effective weapon was humanity itself in all its weird, wonderful, meme-loving glory. Major Chen, Rodriguez called out, "What's the status on Project Playlist?" Chen looked up from her station, a mischievous glint in her eye. "On schedule, General." Rodriguez nodded approvingly. "Excellent. And the cat video database?" "Expanding daily, sir. We've got everything from basic cat knocks object off table to advanced cat freaks out over cucumber." "Perfect." Rodriguez allowed herself a satisfied smile. "Keep up the good work, people. Earth's safety depends on our ability to remain utterly, inexplicably weird." As she turned back to the main display, which now showed a real-time map of meme activity across the globe, Rodriguez couldn't help but laugh. Who would have thought that humanity's greatest defense would turn out to be its ability to be collectively bonkers? A few weeks later, in a top-secret chamber deep within the heart of the Galactic Confederation's capital world, the High Council convened for an emergency session. High Councillor Zix Thor, newly promoted or perhaps demoted, depending on one's perspective, from his role as Admiral, stood before his peers. His tentacles, once proudly erect, now hung limply at his sides. "Esteemed colleagues," he began, his voice carrying a weariness that seemed to age him beyond his years, "I come before you today to discuss the situation with Earth." A murmur ran through the assembled aliens. Earth had become something of a sore spot for the Confederation, a constant reminder of their repeated failures. "As you know," Zix Thor continued, "our latest attempt to bring that primitive world under our benevolent rule has not gone as planned. Understatement of the galactic cycle, that. What we encountered on Earth defies explanation. Their defenses, if one can even call them that, operate on a level of insanity that we are simply not equipped to combat." He gestured, and a holographic display sprang to life in the center of the chamber. The collected alien leaders watched in horror as a compilation of Earth's greatest hits played out before them. Several council members had to look away. One appeared to be on the verge of molting in distress. "This," Zixter said gravely, "is what we're up against. A species so chaotic, so unpredictable, that they have turned their own bizarre behaviors into a form of psychological warfare." High Council of Renax, her crystalline form shimmering with agitation, spoke up. "Surely this is a joke, Zixthor. No sentient species could possibly." Her words trailed off as the hologram shifted to show humans planking in increasingly ridiculous locations. "I assure you," Zixthor said, a haunted look in his eyes, "it is all too real. We have intercepted transmissions indicating that the humans not only engage in these behaviors willingly, but actively enjoy them." The council chamber erupted into chaos. Voices overlapped as the alien leaders tried to make sense of what they were seeing. But why? How can they function like this? Is it some kind of mass hysteria? Zixthor raised his tentacles for silence. "We don't know. Our top xenopsychologists are still trying to decipher the human psyche. But one thing is clear, we have grossly underestimated them." He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what he had to say next. "It is the recommendation of the military high command that we classify Earth a forbidden world. No further invasion attempts are to be made. For the safety of our own people, we must limit exposure to human culture." The silence that followed was deafening. The Galactic Confederation, a vast empire spanning thousands of worlds, being forced to admit defeat at the hands of a species that thought to eat, was a valid addition to their lexicon. Unthinkable. Unthinkable. And yet, as the holographic display continued its assault on alien sensibilities, the truth became undeniable. Humans dabbing. Humans eating Tide Pods. Humans, was that one planking on the edge of a skyscraper? High Councillor Drazcole, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate metallic shell, pulsed with incredulity. This is madness. How can we possibly hope to conquer a species that willingly does that to itself? The that in question was currently a video of the Cinnamon Challenge playing out in all its choking, sputtering glory. Zix Thor nodded grimly. "Precisely, esteemed colleague. Our previous strategies assumed a certain level of logic from our adversaries. We are woefully unprepared to face an enemy that operates on pure, unfiltered chaos." High Council of Renax's crystalline form vibrated with a frequency that in her species indicated deep distress. "But surely there must be some way to combat this. Some weakness we can exploit." Zix Thor's tentacles drooped even further, if that was possible. We thought so too. We attempted to fight fire with fire, so to speak. We created our own memes to try and infiltrate their information networks. He gestured again, and the hologram changed to show a series of alien-created images. They were, well, bad didn't quite cover it. One appeared to be an attempt at recreating the distracted boyfriend meme, but with various species of gelatinous blob creatures. Another seemed to be going for a Doge vibe, but with an eldritch horror straight out of the nightmare dimension. The council chamber filled with sounds of disgust and confusion. As you can see, Zixthor continued, his voice heavy with defeat, our efforts were less than successful. The humans found our attempts so pathetic that they actually turned them into memes themselves. We became the very thing we sought to destroy. High Councillor Klex Nara, a hyper-intelligent shade of the colour blue, somehow managed to convey an eye roll despite lacking any visible eyes. So, what you're saying is we can't beat them, and we can't join them. What options does that leave us? Zixthor straightened up, summoning the last vestiges of his dignity. As I said before, we must classify Earth as a forbidden world. No further invasion attempts, no cultural exchanges. We quarantine the entire solar system if we have to. A ripple of shock went through the assembly. Quarantining an entire system was an extreme measure, usually reserved for worlds infected by planet-eating space viruses or overrun by sentient black holes with anger management issues. Furthermore, Zixthor pressed on, I propose we establish a new division within our intelligence services. Its sole purpose will be to monitor Earth's meme output and assess potential threats. High Councillor Vreenax's crystalline form shimmered skeptically. You want us to dedicate resources to watching human cat videos? Zixthor fixed her with all 7 of his eyes. With all due respect, Councillor, those cat videos brought our most advanced battle fleet to its knees. We underestimated them once. We cannot afford to do so again. As the council debated, the holographic display continued its relentless march through human internet culture. Aliens watched in horrified fascination as humans ice bucket challenged, mannequin challenged, and Harlem shook their way across the galaxy's collective consciousness. Finally, after what felt like eons of debate and several emergency mental health breaks, the council reached a decision. High Councillor Draz Cole, pulsing with the gravity of the moment, spoke. It is the decision of this council that Earth shall indeed be classified as a forbidden world. All citizens of the Confederation are hereby warned that exposure to human culture may result in confusion, existential crisis, and an inexplicable desire to pour ice water over one's head. He paused, his energy form flickering with what might have been a sigh. Furthermore, we will establish the Memina Monitoring and Extraction Division. May the cosmic void have mercy on the poor souls assigned to that task. As the council session adjourned, Zixthor felt a complex mixture of emotions wash over him. Relief that the threat of Earth would be contained, lingering trauma from his exposure to human culture, and buried deep beneath layers of alien psychology, a tiny spark of something he couldn't quite identify. Was it admiration? He quickly squelched the thought. No, best not to dwell on it. He had a galaxy to run after all. And if sometimes in the privacy of his own quarters he found himself humming Never Gonna Give You or saying it's free real estate for no apparent reason, well, that would be his little secret. Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the existential crisis they'd sparked in the galactic community, humanity continued to be, well, human. In the Earth Defense Force bunker, General Rodriguez stood before her team, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Well, folks, she said, her voice carrying that unique mix of pride and disbelief that had become the hallmark of Earth's defenders, it looks like we've done it again. The alien fleet has retreated, and our long-range sensors show no signs of any impending invasions. A cheer went up from the assembled staff. Lieutenant Thompson, true to his nickname, was giggling so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. But Rodriguez continued, holding up a hand for silence. We can't rest on our laurels. The threat is still out there, and we need to be prepared. Major Chen nodded seriously, though her eyes sparkled with barely contained mirth. Absolutely, General. I've already got my team working on weaponizing the Old Town Road remixes. Rodriguez winced slightly. Excellent work, Major. I think, Lieutenant Thompson? What's the status on Operation Dank Pape? Thompson managed to compose himself long enough to report. All green, General. We've got a stockpile of rare peppies that would make even the most hardened alien invader question their life choices. Outstanding. Rodriguez turned to address the room at large. Remember, people, what we do here may seem silly. It may seem pointless. Hell, half the time I'm not even sure what we're doing. This elicited a round of knowing chuckles. But make no mistake, she continued, her voice taking on a note of fierce pride, We are the first, last and only line of defense between Earth and total annihilation. Our ability to be weird, to be random, to embrace the absurd, that's not just our strength, it's our superpower. She paused, looking each member of her team in the eye. The aliens don't understand us. They can't understand us. And that's exactly why we'll always win. As the bunker erupted into cheers and applause, Rodriguez allowed herself a moment of reflection. When she'd first joined the Earth Defense Force, fresh out of MIT with a double major in electrical engineering and dank meme studies, she'd had her doubts. How could shitposting and viral videos possibly save the world? But now, looking at her team, the finest collection of memeloids, social media mavens, and internet culture experts the world had to offer, she knew they were humanity's best hope. Let the aliens come, she thought. Earth would be ready with cat videos and rickrolls, with dabbing and planking, with all the weird, wonderful, utterly nonsensical things that made humans human. As she turned back to the main display, currently showing a real-time feed of the world's most popular memes, a cat wearing a sombrero was in the lead, General Rodriguez couldn't help but smile. The universe might be vast and full of terrors, but as long as humanity kept its sense of humor, its ability to find joy in the absurd, they'd be just fine. After all, in a galaxy full of serious, logical, predictable species, sometimes the best defense is a good old-fashioned whoop-key cushion. And if that whoop cushion happened to be backed by state-of-the-art quantum computing and a tactical nuclear arsenal, well, that was just humanity in a nutshell, wasn't it? As the Earth continued its eternal dance around the sun, blissfully unaware of its newfound reputation as the galaxy's weirdest, most incomprehensible planet, life went on. Memories were shared, challenges were accepted, and somewhere someone was probably already planning the next big internet sensation. And in the vast cold reaches of space, alien civilizations looked upon this tiny blue marble with a mixture of fear, confusion, and just a tiny bit of envy. Because in all their advanced wisdom, in all their technological marvels, they had somehow missed out on one of the most powerful forces in the universe.